open up your wine bar?
Sure. Well, I lived in London for a long time before coming back to Dublin. And my wife and myself had a real passion for wine. I loved trying new wines, pairing wine with food and see how that affected, how the food affected the wine, etc. And obviously visiting lots of wine bars, and we drank lots of wine on our travels.
Good
And
hobby.
yes, I know, too good of a hobby. But then we moved back to Dublin and we live in Portobello, and we kind of felt there was a need for something local, for a nice wine bar where people could come and just have a glass of wine, and not, sometimes you don't feel like you want to go out to the pub or you don't want to go to a restaurant. You just want a glass of wine and maybe some cheese. And we had lots of good friends and neighbours who kind of encouraged us to do it. And this premises kind of came up on Clanbrassil Street, and it's so near where we live, and the timing was perfect for me personally. And we said, let's just go for it and do it. And we'll regret not doing it if we don't. So we opened in December, and it was great. And all the locals around here, there's a big population, the Tenters and the Portobello around Clanbrassil Street, all supported us, and we were delighted with how it was going, so we kind of, then obviously March came and things ended, but we kept going. We haven't stopped really since COVID started, and we've been delivering wine, and we reopened in May as a retail outlet, and now we sell our wines as a retail shop, and we sell cheeses and charcuterie and almonds and olives and all the kind of wine related foods that customers want.
Brilliant.
And so we're happy with that and how it's going.
It sounds very interesting. Now, I haven't actually got in, and I would have loved to get to see it, but obviously because of the pandemic, we can't actually go and be on site with you, which is a shame because I don't get to taste the wine. But tell me a little bit about the look and the feel you were trying to achieve when you did your interior for the restaurant.
Sure. Well, we wanted to have, the space is perfect because it's kind of two big rooms, if you like, and we wanted the space to have people to come in and sit down and have a glass of wine, but also a retail space where people could come and browse and pick their wines and leave and go home, etc. So we wanted a space that was relaxed but had a kind of modern feel, but relaxed, and really people could come in and just sit down and have a glass of wine. There's no pressure to have any food. You could just have a glass of wine in the afternoon and just leave. Our friends could come and sit together and share a platter of foods, a platter of cheese and charcuterie. And our kind of passion is about pairing the wine with the cheeses. So sometimes if you have the wrong cheese, it can ruin the wine, and etc. So that's what we're interested in doing, and we've tried to do that as much as we can.
Brilliant. Sounds great. And how do you go about sourcing your wines? Where do you go?
Well, there's a lot of suppliers, great suppliers of wine in Ireland. So we had, been going to lots of consumer wine tastings over the years and got to know a lot of them at these events, a lot of those suppliers, and really wanted to work with people that we knew and felt comfortable with, and also who were sourcing their wines from interesting suppliers or wine makers, and our customers actually like to know that the wine is coming from farmers, if you like, who are operating in a sustainable way and are following organic biodynamic principles, and they ask us about that all the time. It's really becoming more and more important to the customers. So most of the suppliers, most of the wines that we have in here are, either organic or biodynamic or natural wines, which is a new thing, a growing thing and very popular. And so the suppliers we work with kind of match our views in terms of where the wine should be made, etc. So
brilliant, and there's a huge interest in that now. And tell us about a bit of your wine, your on tap offerings.
Yeah, so the wines on tap, we're so happy with how it's gone. I don't know if you can see behind me, I have some of the pumps there for the wines on tap. We're delighted with how that's going. People, when they were sitting in, were having it by the glass or by the carafe. We sell it in refillable bottles now, so people can just buy a bottle and take it home and then come back and refill refill the bottles. So we kind of, we make sure that the wines that we've chosen for the wines on tap are very good quality. They're wines for drinking young, and they're just easy drinking wines, but they're very good quality. And it's become very, very popular. Again, it kind of fits in with the sustainability issue, where you're not going to the bottle bank every
you're just refilling the same one.
Just come back with your bottle and refill
Brilliant.
it. And it's very, very popular, and we can change those wines on a regular basis. We have a rosé now.
Sorry, how do you find that wine lovers are reacting to wine on tap, if you know what I mean? Like, is there a reaction from people, or?
People are happy to, most people are, we have had no complaints about the wine. So the great thing about it is we can easily give people a taste of the wine. So it's not like we have to open a bottle to give someone a taste. We can give them a little taste from the tap. And everyone, most people are quite happy to drink it. It's easy drinking wine. It's good quality. It's great value. We sell it by half-litre and litre bottles. And generally it's been really popular. We're changing our kegs a lot, you know what I mean? And the kegs, it comes in 20 or 30 litre kegs. And the kegs themselves are recyclable, fully recyclable also. So it's very popular.
Okay, brilliant. But it's such a good idea to be able to just refill your bottle. Like it's a new concept.
During the lockdown, we were going to people's houses and they'd leave their empty bottles outside, and we'd replace them with full bottles. So some of our neighbours. So it's kind of like the milkman, but it was the wine man. So it's been great.
Okay, brilliant. And was it a deliberate decision to keep the menu simple so that you could, work it with all the different wines and stuff like that?
Definitely. We're not chefs, and we're not, we have no plans to become chefs. We wanted to keep it simple and not get, it can be tempting to start adding more and more to your food. Our interest is on cheese, charcuterie, and matching that, pairing that with the wines. And that's what we want to kind of improve on and get better at, and understand what the customers want. And we'll definitely keep that simple and just keep that, because otherwise we'll just become another restaurant. And people, I think, want just somewhere to come for a glass of wine and maybe a bit of cheese, a glass of wine before they go to dinner somewhere. And there's some really nice restaurants around here, and maybe a glass of wine afterwards and a bit of cheese. And that's what we're focused on.
The whole social aspect of it, is
definitely, and people come in, and people come in and they meet people they know, because it's such a local place, so that's what we wanted.
Brilliant. And where do you source then all your breads, your cheeses, your charcuterie? Where does that all come from?
Yeah, we try and source everything as locally as we can, and it's we work with Lilliput, who are in Stony Batter. They're one of our suppliers, and Sheridan's do great cheeses, obviously, and local breads, from Bretzel Bakery and people like that. So we definitely try and keep it local as much as we can.
Excellent. And so, can you tell us a few of your top favorites?
Favorite wines?
Yes, your favorite wine.
It's very hard. Yeah, there's so many wines, and luckily we have to taste everything that comes in here.
No, that's terrible.
So, in terms of sparkling wines, what's really popular at the moment is naturally Pet Nat. They're called Pétillant Naturel. So they're naturally sparkling wines. I don't know if you can see, I have one here.
Okay.
Cool
label. I love it.
The cool labels, and these wines kind of naturally, they become sparkling in the bottle. So they ferment. The final fermentation is in the bottle, and they tend to be lower in alcohol, and they're very nice, very easy drinking, but they're becoming very popular. So that would be, and probably an alternative to Prosecco. If you like Prosecco, they're tiny little. They have a little bit of sweetness, but they're maybe not as sweet as Prosecco. They're kind of dry, but they're a good alternative. And the white wines, I have a one that was very popular in the wine bar, which is a Gruner Veltliner, which is an Austrian white wine.
Okay.
And again, that's very popular here. It's really nice wine. And a rosé, I'll just give you a few here. Okay. This one here is from the Azores. So the soil that the vines grow in is volcanic,
Okay.
and it's really, really nice wine. It gives it a little bit of saltiness on the finish, so it's kind of different. But people are looking for something slightly different to the typical wines that they always drink. And then I have a nice red wine from the Rhone Valley. So this is Syrah.
Oh,
It's
that's a
again
cute
a lovely
name.
label.
Yeah, it's
And
beautiful.
again, this is a natural wine. It's unfiltered, and it's just so juicy, easy drinking, and it's perfect red wine. So we have so many wines. I could go on all day with
But the
my
place,
friend.
it sounds like a perfect place to go and taste wines. As I said to you earlier, I drink wine. I don't know much about wine, and if someone offers me a glass of wine, I just say yeah. But I think it's very good that you can go in and taste different things and
I
learn
think
and
so. Yeah,
listen to you.
yeah, and I think we're
Yeah,
all learning
yeah,
about wine together
yeah,
because you never know everything about wine. So that's what makes it so interesting. But yeah, people, I think, like for example, Austrian wines are really popular now, and people might not have chosen that before. But if you can come in and have a glass of an Austrian wine and just try it and see what you think, and then you might just change from we're always, I was always guilty of always going for the same wine because
yeah.
you don't want to risk getting something that you mightn't like.
You might
But it's
like
nice
not
for,
waste the drink.
yeah, just come and have something different. And if you don't like it, it's just one glass of wine and you can go back to something different later.
So, how many glasses of wine do you actually say are in a bottle? Most people say four-ish, is there, or is it more?
Well, it depends on the size of your glass, I
Yeah,
suppose.
I
But
know.
yes, but I think generally in a restaurant, people would serve 150 mils in a glass,
Okay,
maybe 175. So 150 mils would give you 5 glasses.
okay.
Um,
And does it
and
does it does it always start like the price of wines are obviously different prices and stuff. Is it that you spend more on a bottle of wine and it's going to be a better wine? Is that the case, or?
I think it's very difficult to say that. You
Yeah,
can have a really expensive bottle of wine, and if you have it with the wrong food, it can really taste bad.
yeah,
You know what I mean? It can be
yeah,
very well made, and it can be nice wine in the right circumstances.
yeah,
So, you can get good quality wine at a great value at say 15 euros or 12 to 15 euros or something. But I mean, yeah, if you buy an expensive bottle of wine, make sure you're drinking it at the right time and with the right food, and that's
and
going
you
to,
know what to put it with. Yeah,
yeah, what to put it with. Because, and also, I've made the mistake before of buying a really expensive bottle of wine for a Christmas dinner or something,
yeah.
and then opening it and, my wife telling me that's too young to be drank now, that needs more aging. So just
Okay.
because it's more expensive doesn't mean you should drink it.
Yeah,
It might need more
yeah.
aging. So it's very, yeah, there's a lot to
To get it. Yeah. Well, it's like me saying to a person that that's a beautiful color, but it's just in the wrong place. You know,
yeah, exactly.
it's not that the color there's anything wrong with that color, because sometimes clients
Yeah,
get, oh, you don't like the color. I'm like, no, I actually love that color. It's just actually in the wrong place or in the wrong
that's a really
same
good
thing.
analogy. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
it's there's nothing wrong with the wine. It's
yeah.
just it doesn't really go with what
No,
you're
what you,
having with it.
yeah,
So if you just want a glass of wine to drink on its own at a party or something,
yeah.
I think Italian whites are really good, or
Okay,
Spanish reds generally because they're not too strong flavored. Some of the Italian whites are very light, easy drinking,
okay.
and so you want something that can be just drank quite, without
Yeah.
lots of food. I would say Italian reds or Spanish, or, sorry, Italian whites or Spanish reds would be the option for that. Something like
Okay,
that.
well, that's good to know, because the way people are catering way more at home now, so it's always good to know these kind of things.
Yeah, yeah,
The way when people say a bottle is corked, what does that mean? I don't get.
yeah. And the bottle, if you get that kind of
Okay,
musty, it means the cork is faulty. There's something
okay,
wrong with the cork.
okay,
And now there can be other things as well, like you can get oxidization of the wine because the wine hasn't been in contact with the cork. So oxygen has managed to get in, and that can change the wine and give it that other not nice
not nice taste.
aroma. Yeah. So
Okay,
Yeah.
So just watch out for that. And also, is there any, if for pairing wines with food, is there any tips that you can give to people with pairing food with the wine, especially now they're entertaining more at home?
Yeah, I think, probably look at where, the food you're having, like what grows together goes together, if you like, if you know what I
Okay.
mean. So
Yeah,
if
brilliant.
if you're eating something from Italian, a pasta or something, an Italian wine will probably be a good choice to have it. So something that's from the same area as the food that's eaten in that area,
That's a
So
brilliant way of looking
yeah,
at it.
so if you're having seafood, maybe, if you look at something from, where people eat a lot of seafood, and what wine do they drink in that location would be a good wine to pair with the, and also, if you have, think of the acidity of the food, you don't want, so if you're having dessert, for example, you need to have a sweet wine, so the you can't really drink a dry white wine with a sweet dessert, it just won't work, so you need to match that as well.
Yeah, because it tastes wrong. Because sometimes you eat something and then you drink and it's just wrong.
Yeah, and that's
You just
amazing
know.
when you drink something with two different types of food and just see how different the wine tastes. It's
Yeah.
so interesting to
Well, it's like, you're saying I would drink wine with cheese, but I'd never drink wine with crisps, but I'd drink beer with crisps, but I'd never drink beer with cheese. It's
yeah. So
yeah.
yourself. You know what
You know
goes.
yourself, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So,
you do. You kind of know. What should you think when you're buying a bottle of wine as a present? What is there any ideas or?
oh God, yeah. It's difficult because you tend to just go for a
Yeah.
price. So I
Yes.
think about the person. If you know them and you know what do they always go to Italy on holidays, or
Yeah.
what do you know about them? If not, I'd just buy them something different, maybe something interesting that they wouldn't normally buy.
Yeah.
If they like wine, buy them something slightly different to their normal, and just so they can try something new.
I'm kind of attracted myself with my graphic background. I'm kind of attracted sometimes to labels.
Yeah, well,
Like the first one you
that's
showed me there, I thought that was
I
really
know
cool. Yeah.
that's becoming so
Yeah.
important now, and people love the labels, and I
Yeah.
think winemakers are definitely keeping that in mind when they're putting
Changing. It's totally
label.
changing. Yeah.
It definitely attracts people. Yeah.
Yeah. Because we're so used to for years just seeing fonts and just very plain ones, and now they're colorful. Like the one you showed us there had orange and pinks on it.
Yeah. There's
It's
loads of
getting so
colors.
vibrant. Yeah.
Yeah, there really are.
And how long do you think that you should keep a bottle of wine? The way people say they have, oh, I have that years. Is there
Yeah.
an end of date on any wine, or how?
No, I think most wines really are meant to be drank young.
Okay.
Most wines that we drink all the time are just meant to be drank this year, next, this year that you get them. I mean, some wines that have high tannins and high, that high acidity and high tannins can be aged, because that gives them extra longevity, I suppose. So, depending on the wine, but I think typically most wines are meant to be drank young.
No. Okay, that's a
Yeah.
good thing. So buy it and drink it.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Definitely. Tell us
And
how.
ask your wine. When you go into the wine shop, you can ask the wine
Yeah.
person. Yeah, they'll tell you.
I will definitely be in to visit you. So tell people where you are and your opening hours and stuff like that, so they can find you.
Sure. So we're in Clanbrassil Street, Lower. So we're, God, how can I describe it? So it's near Leonard's Corner, near
Okay. Yeah.
down there, and we're currently open 12 o'clock to 7 p.m. as a retail outlet, Wednesday to Saturday. We're now looking at the new extending our opening hours and having people sit in as soon as we're allowed to do that. We'll start doing that and maybe open a bit later. But we can find us on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter at The Wine Pair Dublin.
Brilliant. Well, listen, thank you so much for joining us today. I really appreciate it. I love chatting to you, and I definitely will be in to visit you. So
Great.
thank you so much.
Thanks, Adele. Thank you.
See you.
Bye.
Bye.